Is that really her? Oh my God, I know, she looks incredible. I can't believe it. Wow, just wow.
You still gonna show up looking like our ugly duckling? Or you scared now? Trevor Lane said it like a dare. A dirty little spark thrown into an old group chat that never really grew up. 10 years have passed, but some people keep their cruelty like a childhood trophy. The message got instant laughs, old names popping up with laughing emojis and memories they still thought were funny. They told each other the reunion would be perfect if Nia Carter came. Not to celebrate her, to relive her, to remind her who they decided she was back then. Across town, Nia stared the reunion invite on her phone. Jefferson High 10-year reunion. We would love to see you there. The words looked sweet, but her body felt the hidden blades under them. Her stomach tightened the same way it used to. Before first bell, her mind pulled her back into hallways that smelled of floor wax and sweat, where lockers slammed like warning shots and laughter followed her like a shadow. Back in high school, Nia was the girl people used as a mirror for their own insecurity. She was tall and quiet, with thick glasses, braces, and a uniform that never fit right. Her braids were uneven because her aunt did them after long night shifts. Her shoes were thrift store finds, always a half size off, always noticed by the wrong people. She walked fast, shoulders tucked in, trying to be smaller than her own height, but being small never saved her. It just made her easier to circle. They called her ugly duckling in front of teachers and behind her back. They said it when she answered a question in class, even when she was right. They said it when she passed in the cafeteria line, nudging each other like they had discovered something hilarious. Their favorite move was kindness that turned into a trap. "Sit here, Nia, we saved you a seat." Then they pulled a chair away. The second she sat, the room would explode in laughter, and the teachers would sigh, say settle down, and keep moving. The silence around the cruelty was its own kind of cruelty. It taught Nia the world would not always step in for the soft ones. Her safe place was the art room at the end of the hall. It smelled like paint and paper and old wood. The tables were scarred with years of projects, and the quiet there felt honest. She drew because drawing was breathing. She drew wings, faces, oceans, anything that could hold a life bigger than school. Ms. Alvarez, her art teacher, noticed how often she stayed late. She never asked for drama. One afternoon she slid a fresh sketchbook across the table and said, "Keep filling pages. Your hands are telling the truth even when people don't." Nia clung to those words like a rope-dock graduation didn't bring relief. It brought one last cut. As she stood in line in a borrowed cap and gown, a boy behind her whispered loud enough to make a few people laugh that at least the ugly duckling was leaving. Nia felt the heat in her cheeks, and for a second she wanted to disappear. Then she held still. She didn't cry. She promised herself she would never come back just to be the same girl they mocked. She left town the next morning. College was hard, but it was clean of her past. Nobody knew the nickname. Nobody had built a role for her to suffer in. She cut her hair short first, then grew it out natural, learning how to touch her own curls with pride. She started running at sunrise, not because she hated her body, but because she wanted strength to live inside it. She made friends who saw her talent before they saw her fear. She joined the campus fashion show because a roommate begged her. The first time she walked under lights, her legs shook. The second time she felt something unlock. Not sudden confidence, more like a door she had been slowly building for years finally opening. A recruiter saw her that night. Then another. Her first contract came fast. She learned posture, pacing, and presence. She learned how to turn nerves into grace. She learned that beauty was not a prize other people hand you. Beauty is a truth you claim when you stop waiting for permission. By 25, she was walking major runways. By 28, her face was on billboards in cities she once only saw in magazines. People called her fierce, elegant, unforgettable. But the biggest shift happened in quiet hotel bathrooms, When she washed her face and looked herself in the eyes and whispered, "You are not who they named you. You are who you became." Still, scars have their own timing. Sometimes they sting inside success. Sometimes they wake up when you least expect it. Now the reunion invite sat there like a test. Part of her wanted to delete it and protect her peace. Another part was tired of letting old fear make choices. She thought of Ms. Alvarez. She thought of the sketchbook pages she filled when no one believed in her. She thought of the girl she used to be, begging the world to stop laughing. Nia took a breath and RSVP'd. Yes, reunion night arrived with clear skies and cool air. Jefferson High looked smaller than memory, like time had shrunk the monster. The gym was dressed with balloons, string lights, and a playlist that tried too hard to be young. People gathered in clusters holding plastic cups, trading stories about jobs, breakups, kids, and dreams that either survived or didn't. A shallow hum floated in the air. In the corner, Trevor and his old crew sat like they never left. Their faces were older, but their smirks were familiar. They checked the door again and again, whispering about how funny it would be if she came alone, still quiet, still unsure, still their duckling. They were waiting for a punchline. The back doors opened. The room shifted before anyone spoke. Conversation. Then, heads turned. A few breaths caught. Nia walked in slowly, not to perform, but because she owned her pace now. Her midnight blue dress was simple and sharp, fitting like it was made for her. Her curls framed her face softly. Her skin glowed warm under the gym lights. She didn't carry herself like a visitor. She carried herself like someone who belongs to herself fully. No rush, no apology, no need to shrink. Phones lifted without thought. A quiet ripple of whispers spread through the gym. People said her name like they weren't sure it was real. The cruel plan in Trevor's mind collapsed instantly. He had expected a target. He got a legend. Nia scanned the room, seeing old banners, old bleachers, old faces. She saw the bullies staring like they were watching a different timeline. She felt no rush of revenge, only distance, like looking at a storm. Through a window after you survived it years ago, people came up fast, some with real excitement, some with nervous guilt. A classmate who once watched her get mocked stepped forward with wet eyes and apologized, saying she should have done more. Nia nodded and thanked her softly. She had learned forgiveness is not for the past. It is for your future. Trevor finally rose and walked over, smile thin, voice trying to sound casual. He said, "Wow, you really changed." He said he barely recognized her. He tried to make it sound like a compliment, but the old hunger to control the moment was still in his eyes. Nia held eye contact. Her face stayed calm. Her voice came gentle but clear, the way truth does when it isn't trying to win, only to be real. "I recognize you. I remember everything. And you don't get to rewrite what you did just because I survived it." The corner went silent. Trevor's mouth opened, then shut. He looked down. The people around him looked away, not to protect him, but because the mirror was too honest to stare into. Brianna, the girl who used to laugh the loudest, stepped forward next. Her eyes were wet now, not for show. She said she was sorry. She said she was cruel because she wanted to fit in. She said she didn't understand what it did to Nia. Her voice shook in a way that sounded real, not polished. Nia nodded slowly. She didn't punish her. She didn't hug her. She just said something that felt like a door opening. Be kinder to people who don't look like the crowd. And be kinder to yourself too. Later, someone asked Nia to speak. She walked to the microphone, and the gym quieted the way it had never quieted for her before. She looked out at the same kind of faces that once felt like a wall. She told them she used to believe everyone noticed her pain. She learned they didn't. She said success didn't. Erase the past. It proved the past wasn't her limit. She let that settle, then offered a line that landed like truth waking up. When you laugh at someone for being different, you are really afraid you might be average without a target. Nobody clapped right away. The room was too busy feeling the weight of it. Then applause rose slowly, full and steady. Not because she was famous, because she had returned without begging for a new story. She had already written one. When Nia stepped outside into the cool night air, she felt lighter in a way she couldn't explain. The building behind her wasn't a cage anymore. It was a page she had already turned. She wasn't the ugly duckling they tried to name. She was the woman they never predicted, not because she became someone else, but because she finally saw what she was all along. If this story hit your heart, comment where you're watching from. Tell us if you've ever had to outgrow a label someone gave you. And subscribe for more cinematic stories about quiet courage, hard pass, and the moment life finally bows to who you became.